Hey there everyone, what's up? This is a video that it's kind of been requested. I think a lot of people recently have been asking me about my Vita collection because I talk about Vita games a lot. And it's hard not to talk about Vita games when there's so many awesome games coming out. So it's the kind of thing where, you know, play a lot of Vita games, so I have a bit. So I'm going to talk about my Vita collection today. It's not a ton of games. It's probably about 20 or so. Uh, I guess more if you include downloadable stuff, but today we'll just talk about full release games. But yeah, the Vita recently. I mean, I've had the Vita for a long time, but recently it's picking way up. It's got a lot of games coming out, more than most systems out, I think. And keep in mind, I'm talking about my Japan release dates. I don't know how the U.S. schedule or the Europe schedule looks, but you know, North America or Europe, I don't know how your schedule looks, but the Japan schedule full of games, chock full of games, and not just kind of filler, but a lot of really good stuff. So the Vita, it's aiming to be one of the best handheld consoles. Um, so yeah, let's talk about my collection. The first game we got here is Katamari Damashi no Vita, or Touch My Katamari, I think is the English name. Touch My Katamari, I think. Um, this is a fun game. If you played any other games, you'll probably like this. Except the only downside to this game is that it's really short, like ridiculously short, especially compared to the other games like Beautiful Katamari on the 360 or Katamari Forever, I think it's in English, in on the PS3. Those games have a ton of content. I mean, so much content. And this one, not so much. It does let you play through the stages in various ways, like 3 or 4 different ways. But even then, the 360 and the PS3 versions also did that, but they had like 5 times as many stages. So it's a good game, but it's pretty short. So keep that in mind if you're looking into pick up Touch My Katamari, which I would recommend. It's a good game, but short. Let's see. Next we have Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer. I haven't put much time into this game. I'll be honest. I got it for free when I got my Vita, and I'm racing games are some of my least favorite types of games. I think racing games and first-person shooters are pretty much my least favorite types of games. If you talk about those types of games, I'm probably not going to know anything about it, and I didn't put that much time into this. I probably played it once or twice, and I decided, yep, it's a racing game, good enough for me. Um, Next, we've got Sei Mado Monogatari, or Sorcery Saga, I think it's called in English. Um, this is a roguelike. It's like a super cute, kind of goofy roguelike based on finding Puri. That's like a really basic example, explanation, but that's essentially what it is. But it's a roguelike, so it's, got roguelike difficulty and roguelike fun. So I would recommend this game. It's a pretty good game, actually. If you can get past the art style. If you like this kind of art style, then go ahead and get it, because you've got nothing to lose. But I don't like this kind of art style. It's like lowly GB art. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not a fan. But the gameplay is really good, so can't pass that up. So this is Sei Mado Monogatari, or Sorcery Saga. And next we have Mind Zero. And Mind Zero is a first-person dungeon crawler. Don't let the, I guess don't let the, whatever the kind of, I want to say like the previews of the game fool you into believing it's anything like Persona. Um, it does rip some style off of Persona. Like there's some music in the game you're like, this is a obvious Persona ripoff, and the character designs and the concept of the minds in this game is Persona-esque, but Other than that, it doesn't play anything like any of the Persona games. It doesn't even play like the first-person dungeon crawler Persona. It doesn't play like any of those. Um, it plays more like um, not Students of the Round, Class of Heroes. It's made by the same developer, so you can't really fault that. I think I have another. Yeah, but Mind Zero, it's all right. It's not bad, not super good, and the ending is really shitty. I'll say that the ending is like a kick in the nuts. It's awful because it doesn't answer any of the questions and just leaves it open on a cliffhanger. And the game sold not so well in Japan, so I doubt there'll be a sequel, which leaves you off with kind of who knows. Anyway, next we've got Mina no Golf 6. This is Everybody's Golf in Europe, I think, and Hot Shots Golf in the US. This game is fun. I don't play a lot of sports games, but I play some sports games, and not like religiously. I think like once a generation on a system, I'll pick up like some kind of sports game in like some type of sports. Usually golf, and then like a baseball game once once per system. So this is my golf game, I guess. This is a lot of fun, actually. I had a lot of fun with this game. I didn't play a huge amount of it. I wish I could have played more with other people online or something, but I don't know anybody who wants to play this game online, or can, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it's cross-region compatible or not, but if it is, I don't know, I'll play somebody in this game, even though I'm not terribly good or anything, but it's fun. Next we have Silent Hill Book of Memories. And Silent Hill Book of Memories is a kind of Diablo-like dungeon crawler based in the kind of Silent Hill world. You can't really go wrong with that, actually. If you like Silent Hill, you like the kind of tone of Silent Hill, the types of monsters that appear, and the types of weaponry that appears in Silent Hill, and the overall kind of feeling of Silent Hill, I think you'll like this game, but only if you go into it expecting not Silent Hill. You go into it expecting a kind of dungeon crawler. And that's what it is. It's a dungeon crawler. So you can't... and if you go into it expecting a Silent Hill game, you're going to hate it. You're going to think it's awful. If you go into it thinking horror dungeon crawler, it's pretty good. And it's fun to play online. I did play this a bit online with some other people, Games of War, and I played it for a little bit. And it was pretty good. It was fun to play with other people. It was fun to play alone. I don't know. It was a fun game. Here's one I don't have a case for some reason. I couldn't find the case for this. I still don't know where it is. This is... I'm trying to think of the name. The English name. Army Corps of the Dead, maybe? Army Corps of Hell? Maybe. That's what I think it is. But this game is actually a lot of fun. It's not like a great game. It's not super good, but it was cheap when I got it, and it must be super cheap now. And it does get a kind of a bit repetitive towards like the end of the game. And I think you'll find that like getting there is fun, but afterwards, towards the end, it starts to feel like a slog, and you feel like, oh, this is getting repetitive. But it is fun for what it is, and I wouldn't say it's like a must-have game for the Vita, but if you see it for $10, like, why not? It's not a bad game to play at all. So yeah, Army Corps of Hell or of the Dead or whatever it is, I don't remember. Sorry. Next we have Demon Gaze, and I know this just came out for you guys in North America, but Demon Gaze, first-person dungeon crawler made by Experience, who, of course, did the Wizardry games on the PS2. Not all of them, but they did Wizardry X and X2 on the PS2, and those were like kind of instrumental in making like this kind of resurgence of first-person dungeon crawlers in Japan. Not that they ever were like out of fashion or whatever, but I think after those came out, it really picked up. So there were a lot more companies doing that, and the Wizardry license kind of helped with that also, because a lot of companies kind of got the Wizardry license and lost the Wizardry license and just kept on making the same type of game anyway. So This is one of them. This used to be a company called Michael, now they're called Experience, and they made Demon Gaze. And this Demon Gaze isn't even their best game on the PSP, not PSP, on the PS Vita, but it's a pretty good one. It's fun. It's challenging at points, and it's got a pretty good system. It's got some problems, but not not so bad that you won't want to play it. So I had a lot of fun with this game, and I put a lot of time into playing through it. So I would recommend this one too, Demon Gaze. Next we have another first-person dungeon crawler by Experience, and this one is probably their best on the system right now. And this is Mayq Cross Blood Infinity. And this was originally released on the 360 as a 360 exclusive, but they ported it to the Vita and added some new stuff. Infinity mode, especially, which is quite good for people who enjoy a challenge. It takes the normal 6-person party and limits it to 5, so you have less characters to fight the same stuff that you would normally fight with 6. But this is also a cyberpunk game. It takes place in a kind of modern day, near future kind of Tokyo, where there's monsters and demons and things, and you have all this cool kind of cyberpunk technology. You have like weird kind of net-based dungeons and some real like tower type dungeons. I'm saying dungeons, but they're like skyscrapers and stuff. It's not like dungeony. But this game I had a lot of fun with. It's probably the game from Experience that I've had the most fun with. And there was a sequel that was coming out in January or February, and then Cyberfront, who was publishing these, went out of business. So that game was up in the air, but it is coming out soon with another game that is coming out by Experience also. So the Vita is going to have a bunch of new Experience first-person dungeon crawlers in the near future. At least 2, and I think there's a 3rd in the works. So Tokyo New World Record and I guess, Stranger in the Sword Village or whatever. I don't remember what it's called. But those 2 especially are going to be really good. And I think there's another one in the works. So first-person dungeon crawler fans, you should have Vita, because good stuff coming out. Next we have Sumioni, and I believe this was a download-only title in North America and probably Europe also, but Japan got a physical copy, and I love that Japan gets physical copies of downloadable games, because I like physical copies, but also usually the price goes way below the cost of the download copy. So, for example, I think if I wanted to download this game, it's like $8 or $10 or something. This game was like $4 when I bought it, the hard copy, and I like that kind of thing. Cheaper than the download cost plus a physical copy. This game was not a ton of fun, I don't think. I wouldn't even really recommend it all that much unless you like kind of repetitive gameplay is what I want to say. It's not like it's super repetitive, it's that you have to repeat stages over and over again to get better at them until you can get like a high enough score to move to a different level of difficulty, and then rinse and repeat. So there's a lot of repeating in this game. And I mean, it makes the game long, but it's not particularly fun. It does have it uses like a drawing mechanic with ink and burning the ink for fire, and you can do some other stuff. But for the most part, I played it for a couple hours and I thought, it's all right, but I'm not gonna be spending tons of time getting super good at it or anything. But $4. Next we've got Disgaea 3, and this was sent to me by my good friend Lupicillo on YouTube, who I shouted out a million times, but again, visit his channel, he's a good guy. And this game, it's Disgaea, you can't really go wrong. I think I didn't really enjoy the characters in this game all that much, but it does have a ton of content in this. It's got all the DLC from the PlayStation 3 version, and then it has a ton of post-game content where you can go through the story in different ways or with different characters. It's got a ton of content, and if you like Disgaea, you'll like this game because it plays like Disgaea. I mean, it's Disgaea. I prefer Disgaea on handheld, so I never actually bought the PS3 version of this game. I always played this game on a handheld. So I played the first 2 on the PSP and this one on Vita, and I'll play the fourth one also on the Vita whenever I get around to buying it. So good stuff. Next we've got Conception 2. Yeah, I've done an impressions video on this game. It's mediocre, but it's mediocre because they waste a lot of opportunities they have to make it good, and essentially that it's because it's so ridiculously easy that it's like no challenge at all. You can just run through the game essentially, but you're kind of stuck. It takes a while to run through it, even if you're just running through it. It's pretty long. It'll be like 30 hours to just run through it, but and most of that has to do with the kind of story elements with the 7 girls that aren't. It's not really. I didn't find that really engaging either. But the game system and the party building is spectacular. I really liked that, except it was kind of all for naught because the game was so easy. But I know this came out in North America recently, and I think a lot of people are enjoying it. And I know maybe somebody will disagree with me, and they'll be like, "That game was really hard for me." But I had, seriously, I had no trouble in that game ever. There was no boss that I one-shotted some of the bosses. Like, that's how easy it was. So, yeah. Next we've got Tokiden. Here's a hunting type of hunting game, I guess. I forgot what the genre they're trying to call this, and cooperative battle game, I think, is the genre they're giving it in Japan, at least. I think everyone's just going to call it Monster Hunter genre, the monster hunting genre, I guess. And Tokiden, it's not bad. I liked Tokiden enough to play through it, at least. I'm not going to buy the updated version or anything, but it was fun for what it is. The kind of middle ground between Soul Sacrifice and Monster Hunter, I guess. I mean, some stuff is kind of taken from Monster Hunter, and some stuff. I like the demon fighting in this game. I think that the demon designs are cool, but it's an alright game. It's not bad. And next we've got Soul Sacrifice, which is another in the hunting genre game, but of course it's pretty different than all the others, and it does have some really interesting systems. I really liked this game a lot. I put maybe 120 or 130 hours into this, and it was amazing. I really loved this game. I played it online. I beat everything. I went through every part of the game I could. It was really, really fun. If you guys want to hear more about any of these, I have impressions videos for almost all of them. So check them out, I guess. If you're interested in more in-depth than me just saying it's awesome. But Soul Sacrifice Delta is the next one, and I just talked about this recently on my channel. But Soul Sacrifice Delta is... Remember how I just said I thought Soul Sacrifice was awesome? This takes everything that Soul Sacrifice did that's awesome and one-ups it. It adds a ton of new content. It adds a ton of new magic. It adds entire new systems to the game. It adds ridiculously large amounts of story, changes some story elements, makes the ending more palatable. It does a lot of different things, and it makes the game that much better. So if you played Soul Sacrifice, there's no reason why you shouldn't pick this up, because it's just a lot more and a lot better. If you never played Soul Sacrifice, get this one, because it's got a lot of the content from Soul Sacrifice. Not all of it, but it's got a bunch of it, plus tons of new stuff, and it's more fun because it's more balanced. So yeah, Soul Sacrifice Delta, hop on this when it comes out. Next we've got Kagero Dark Side Princess. Honestly, I think this is Deception 4 in the US. I'm kind of baffled by the naming conventions, because this is Kagero... Essentially, this is Kagero 3 in Japan, but it's the 5th game in the series, I think. Pretty sure it's the 5th game in the series. It might be the 6th even, but I think it's the 5th. And I don't know, the naming is weird, even though they're all part of the same kind of series. I don't know why it's Deception 4 in the US, because that was the 4th in the series released there. Kind of. I mean, Trapped came out, right? I don't know if they're counting that one. I don't know, whatever. This game is a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun playing this game. It's a different kind of game than other games. You're setting down traps for a lot of people that are invading your area wherever you are. You set down traps and you want to try and get trap combos to do the max amount of damage to enemies who are trying to kill you. That's essentially it. This game, it's fun, even though like it's not really that difficult to set up infinite combos where you can just like loop an enemy in the combo infinitely until they're dead. You can do that with almost everybody if you hit it right. So maybe some people won't like that, but there are a lot of challenge missions in this game. I think there's 100 plus whatever you can download, which is hundreds and hundreds. But the challenge missions are challenging. The story missions are interesting, and there are kind of built-in challenges in the story, but you don't have to do any of those. And because you can set up infinite loops, you can kind of get through the story relatively quickly and easily. And there are multiple endings, so I guess it's not so bad that you can get through it quickly. But the challenge missions kind of really expand the content of this game, so you get a lot of kind of cool challenges to do, and you get to make use of all the stuff you learned in the other parts of the game, and you get to upgrade your stuff even further. So it's a pretty good game. I would recommend this. It's also on the PS3, but you know, I played on the Vita because I like handheld games. But it's a good game. It's a good game, probably on either system. I haven't played the PS3 one. Next we have Tales of Hearts R. Tales of Hearts R is a Tales of game. That's for sure. It plays a lot. Originally this was on the DS, and it was like a 2D Tales of game. The Vita is a straight up remake. It's not like a port. It's a remake in 3D. So the battle system is changed to a 3D battle system that you'd expect from the more modern Tales games. The story is the Tales story. They all kind of have a very similar arc to them, but this one does some kind of nice things with the characters. They don't like play to stereotypes all that much, so it's interesting. It's a pretty good game, and I'm not like a huge Tales of fan, so I'm probably not the best person to be like saying, it's the good points about this game, but it's pretty fun for what it is, and if you like Tales, you'll like this, I think. So when it comes out in the US or North America, definitely pick it up. I don't know, did they announce that it's coming out in Europe too? I don't know, but Vita's region free, just pick it up anywhere. Next we have Dragon's Crown, and Dragon's Crown, I feel like Dragon's Crown is meant for the Vita. Like, it has that weird touchscreen thing that you have to do to get stuff that seems weird to do on the PS3 with an analog stick. So it seems like this game was made for the Vita and kind of ported to the PS3, which may be the case, but it might not be. Whatever. But this game was a lot of fun. I really liked the kind of play with this game, going through the game and fighting a lot of monsters, playing in like a kind of fantasy beat 'em up game essentially over and over. And that's like essentially what it is. It feels like a Dungeons and Dragons game, like one of the previous Capcom Dungeons and Dragons game, which is, one of these guys worked on that. So it's the kind of thing where you'd kind of expect that. But it's, of course, people complain about the art style. I don't know why people complain about the art style now. It's not like Vanillaware hasn't been using that same art style for like 10 years. But whatever. If you're not like put off by, depictions of guys with huge muscles and women with large breasts or large asses or whatever, pick up Dragon's Crown. I don't know. I'm kind of baffled by the uproar that came out over the art style of this game. It's like, have you guys never heard of Frank Frazetta? Like, it's from the 70s at this point. Like, all of his art looks like that. If you've seen like the art of Boris, like seriously, have you seen any fantasy art from like the 70s onwards? It all looks like that. It's essentially that. I don't know why this game in particular got pointed out for that. I guess whatever. Anyway, last physical game at least, is Persona 4: The Golden. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. If you don't have a Vita and you're you're on the edge, this game alone is enough reason to buy a Vita. Even if you played the PS2 version, there's so much new content in this that it feels like a kind of extra game. It feels like like a bonus game in the sense that you get so much extra stuff that a lot of the stuff feels different. You have a lot of stuff going on, and it's definitely worth playing. I put 120 hours or something into this. I maxed out all the characters out and did like all the social links and did everything I could. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of good times with this game, and I would recommend this as the first game everybody should purchase when they purchase their Vita. Persona 4: The Golden and a Vita, you're pretty much set for a month. But yeah, I have a couple other games that I downloaded. I have Ys, Memories of Celceta. I played that recently. I played through that, and it's fun. I don't know. I haven't played an Ys game since like the Super Nintendo. Like I had, when I was a kid, I had a TurboGrafx, and Ys 1 and 2, Ys Book 1 and 2 was one of the games I had, and I loved that game. I played it a ton of times. It's not a terribly long game or anything, so you can kind of blow right through it. And I did play through that game a bunch of times, and I played Ys 3 on the Super Nintendo, and that's like the last Ys game I played. I haven't played like any of the PSP ones or any of the remakes. So Ys Memories of Celceta was the first game I played since like 1992 or something. Actually, I'm just guessing at the year there. I don't know. Whatever. But the general idea is it's a remake of Ys 4 or 5. I don't know. But I don't know. It was fun, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't make me want to play the other games in the series. It's a good game though. If you like Ys, you're gonna like that one. If you like kind of action RPGs that are, not incredibly difficult and can't be made difficult, then yeah, I guess that's for you. I'm not saying. I mean, I'm sounding negative here, but I actually enjoyed playing through it, even though like towards the end I was just like, God, will this end ever? Even though it's not that long, I was just kind of getting tired of it because it's just kind of button mash and dodge every once in a while. But yeah, it's not a bad game, and I'm not like terribly into the series, as you can tell, but it's a good game. And I also have Earth Defense Force 3, well, 2017 maybe is what it is. I'm trying to remember what it's called there. It's just Earth Defense Force 3 here, so it's Earth Defense Force killing giant bugs. You can't go wrong with that. I usually have that on the 360, so I've played through it a bunch of times there, and having it on the Vita is fun too. Again, I wish I had more people who had it, because it seems like it would be fun to play with more people. I played the 360 version with people, like couch co-op, but the Vita version I haven't played co-op at all, so it would be fun if someone had it, but I don't know anybody. But yeah, that's about it. That's my Vita collection. I think it's 20 games, 21 games, whatever. But that's for now. I've got a ton of stuff pre-ordered for the Vita already. This year has a lot of new games coming out. Those two dungeon crawlers I mentioned. Ore no Shikabane yo Kote Yuke 2, which I've been hyped for since it was announced at like Tokyo Game Show 2012, maybe. It was like really, maybe 2013, but it's been a long time I've been like waiting for that game. And I guess Freedom Wars, which I'm not incredibly excited for. I'm trying to think. There is a bunch of Vita stuff coming out. Murasaki Baby I'm pretty excited for, even though that's a downloadable title. There's a bunch of stuff coming out for the Vita, so if you are on the fence about buying a Vita, you shouldn't be. Just get one. Good stuff coming out everywhere. And if you're, I don't know, you think the Vita has no games, you're wrong. That's all I can say. You're wrong. I'm gonna do a separate video about the about games in development right now, but confidentially between you and me and everybody who has access to lists of games in development. The Vita has about twice as many games in development as the 3DS, probably about 5 times as much as the Wii U. It's got a lot of games in development, so more games are come out every month for the Vita than the 3DS. More games are in development for the Vita than the 3DS. Um, Not that I'm knocking the 3DS; it's a good system, but if you think like the 3DS has more games coming out for it, or there's no games for the Vita, you're just misinformed. So that's about it. This video's long, half an hour. That's about my standard, I guess. Whatever. I will see you guys next time.